Hello, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 223 of Standing Out. I'm Trey Griggs, founder and CEO of Beta Consulting Group, and we are excited to have you here. Do me a favor if you get a chance, go to betaconsultinggroup.com and see how we are helping logistics companies, tech, and freight brokers clarify their messaging as they think about their sales and marketing. Love to work with you and excited to have you with us on the show today. We got a great show today. We got a great show this week and next week. Got a good group of shows. In fact, 1 week from today, we're going to be coming to you live from Orlando with a podcast on the golf course. So we're going to be at the TIA Capital Ideas Conference, April 19th through 22. It's not too late to sign up. If you're a freight broker or logistics tech company, you got to be there. There's going to be close to 2,000 people at this event. It's going to be awesome. All you got to do is go to tianet.org/meetings and reserve your spot. Make sure that you get out there to Orlando. It's going to be the Lowe's Pacific, April 19th through 22. So next week at 2 p.m. Central, we're going to be on the golf course with our first golf podcast. I can't wait to do that. Going to have the guys from Amplify Logistics on the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, we got a lot of great shows this week. Not only do we have a great show today, on Tuesday or on Thursday, we got Tony Darnell of Lippert Components, a shipper out of Elkhart, Indiana, talking about what they do there. And then, of course, on Friday, we got Word on the Street. It's going to be a great show on Friday. We're going to talk Chat GPT in logistics. And we have a special rematch edition of Farby Fridays with David Farby. So you don't want to miss that. All right, today's guest, got to bring him on the show. Super excited about this today. This guy has been around the block. He's been an NFL tight end for years and years, and now he is running Bear Down Logistics. Everybody give it up for my good friend, Desmond Clark. This is the song, my friend. I love it. I love it. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Oh, just for all the people right here.
And they say that. And they say that. And they say that.
I had
down.
The first time I heard this song, I remember exactly where I was. That's how good this song is, but also the moment that I had. I got to tell you the story real quick, Desmond. So I was at a conference up in maybe it's in Nashville for the door-to-door sales that I was doing. And my good friend Ed Cunliffe, who was an organizational consultant, so he was a bigwig in the organization. He walks into this song. He walks up on stage. This is this white dude he's from England. He's got this accent. He walks up to this song, and then everybody's hands go up, and he put them up like that, and everybody kind of started laughing, and the whole place just went crazy. And I was like, dude, that song is fire. I had not heard that song before. So that is one of the best walk-up songs of all time. And of course, I'm not surprised that it's coming from you, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And so why is that my song? So I'm just gonna
tell me this. You gotta have a story. Yeah.
Use this on the front, or on the back, or on the sleeve of what I wear every day to work. So I'm just gonna show you the back.
Win the day. Yep. I love that.
Yes, sir.
I love it. I'm a University of Oregon Ducks fan as well, and they used to carry that mantra all the time as well, to win the day. That's a great thing to think about. Tomorrow is not promised. Yesterday's gone. We got today. Let's win today.
Exactly.
I love that, man. Well, it is so good to have you on the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you're doing right now at Bear Down Logistics.
Yeah, as you alluded to, most people know me from playing in the NFL, played 12
Well, they
years.
probably don't recognize you because you're wearing a helmet all the time. But
you know what? When you have on the helmet with the C and the 88 and the Clark on the back of the jersey, that becomes like the superhero uniform, like a Superman, Batman. But who is he when he take off that uniform? And so, yeah, but that's how most people know me, playing 12 years in the NFL, 3 years in Denver, 1 year in Miami, 8 years in Chicago. After that, I've gotten into a number of things, mainly first real estate, and then I got into being a financial advisor, running my own team with Mass Mutual. And then for 2 years, I went and all I was doing was speaking and leadership coaching. I kind of had this thing where I got tired of office and doing what I was doing, and I wanted to do something that I was passionate about. And I'm passionate about helping people see the greatness within themselves and leadership. And through that, I was introduced to logistics from a guy who's seen me doing all of this crazy stuff, all of this promoting principles of winning and leadership. He said, hey, man, I think we could do some marketing together. And he was in a logistics company. And that's how I got introduced. And as I was listening to him talk about logistics, it just grew on me. And he's in this small niche market of doing drayage. And I asked about all of these other things. And And I was like, hey, how about we not necessarily work together? I'll work for you. How about I start this company where we could complement each other? You do dreads, I could do over the road stuff, and now we could toss opportunities back and forth to each other. And that's how it all got started.
Nice. I love that story. And everybody's got a story of how they got into logistics. And that's a great story. I got to ask you one NFL question, though, before we go on. Who was the best player that you played with and the best player you played against? Can you single out two guys?
Oh, man. No. I'm trying to think. So everybody will look at like Brian Urlacher, right? And of course he's there. But a guy like Olin Kreutz that played offensive center, he was a center. You know, he don't get that type of attention.
Right. Totally
of a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, Olin and Brian, they have to be right there neck and neck. As two of the best players that I've ever played with. I mean, I played with Hall of Famers like Jason Taylor, Terrell Davis. I played with a lot of great players. And on the defensive side of the ball, who I played against, I also played with him in high school. I played with Ray Lewis in high school, and then I played against him in the NFL. So I would say Ray Lewis is probably the best player that I played against.
That guy was a beast. There's no doubt about that. TD was solid too, man. Terrell Davis, that guy, he had a great career in Denver, and so yeah, it's probably fun to live some of those stories. Man, what was Ray Lewis like in high school?
Same way he was. Same way. So he's 2 years older than me. He actually played 2 years with my brother. My brother is a year older than him. But my brother always would tell this story about when Ray was a freshman coming to be a sophomore and going up to varsity, how it was 95 degrees out there in the spring, and Ray was trying to get all the guys to do some extra laps, and they started running extra laps or extra lines while the second team was out doing their thing. And the coach yelled at everybody, "Oh, y'all go sit your ass down, this and that and the other." And everybody looked at Ray like, "See, you did this, youngster. Like, go sit down somewhere." So they all, after practice, they all went over to the Circle K after practice and was just hanging out. And they said all they heard was ding, 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 ding. Somebody was over there running stadiums. It was Ray Lewis after practice when everybody else had checked out, showered, and went over and was hanging out at the store across the street. He was still over running. So that's been Ray Lewis his whole entire life. And just knowing him from when we played little leagues all the way through, college, and then having the opportunity to play against him in the league, he's always been that same guy.
Yeah, it's incredibly intense. That's awesome, man. That's such a great story. But now you're in logistics, and as Greg Roberts mentioned, nobody plans to be in logistics, but once you're in, nobody gets out. Man, I'll tell you, I can count on one hand the number of people that have been in logistics that I know that have gotten out. So it's a great industry. It's a wonderful industry, right? I mean, there's so many good things that can happen here. So talk to me about getting into, Bear Down Logistics and that transition from the NFL to the jobs you had, the financial, because, you're in the office now, right? I mean, now you're in the office, and that was one of your things before. You didn't really like being in the office. How is it different now at Bear Down?
Well, it's a totally different industry, right? If you've been in logistics, this is a different type of animal here than doing anything else, real estate or not logistics, but also financial planning. Those are more like white collar things, even though you're in the office here. This is more of like that blue collar job. You got to get down and dirty and in the mud if you want to be successful here. And I believe just that transition from playing football to doing what I'm doing now, this is such a process oriented business, right? And although you're doing the same things over and over and over, you're doing it with different people, and it happens so many different ways that you're always calling audibles. You're always reshuffling. You always got to go and look back in the playbook, make sure that you ran that play right. But I think the NFL and playing sports from the age of 6 to the age of 34 and just knowing systems and processes and how I excelled in systems and learning processes my entire life, this really helped me in this industry.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. I hadn't really thought about it from the sense of kind of being more of a blue collar job, which I really believe it is. I mean, you got to get down and dirty. You got to make the cold calls, and it's difficult. But also the process and the structure. That makes a lot of sense. I know the NFL is very regimented in terms of like when they have practice, what you eat, the plays. Getting everything right down to the smallest details. All that's really critical. So that makes a lot of sense. What has been the biggest challenge that you feel like you've experienced so far in logistics, as an owner and getting into the freight brokerage side of things?
Yeah, and as an owner, I think early on when you're new and you have people that don't want to work with you because you're new, that was the most frustrating thing because to me it's like, all right, how are you supposed to get any experience if no one will work with you? And so I really asked myself that question. All right, if nobody wants to work with me, how do I get experience? I got to start calling these people and actually saying that to these people and saying, okay, I know that we're new.
Just own
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're new, but should that stop you from working with us? You're not going to give us a chance to work with you just because we knew. I was like, we could be the next big thing and you guys won't even know it, but you're turning us away. We could bring income. We can bring you revenue because we're going to do business the right way. And having those type of conversations with carriers and with factoring companies mainly kind of open up that door where now we were able to work with some good carriers because we just called and had those conversations. The second thing that was a struggle, and I say it's probably more of a mistake than a struggle, was so I rode this wave that I didn't know I was riding throughout 2022. As I know now, the absolute worst time to get into the industry because it had flattened out. I didn't know that. I was just hustling. And by the end of 2022, we had created so much revenue and goodness, and we had this momentum. So in 2023, I went out and I hired 6 people. And I was like, okay, just plug and play. And that's when I found out it doesn't work that way. And for those first couple months, I mean, we ended up losing over 25 grand in profit, which is huge for a startup company. And I had to learn how to be patient and how to really analyze and understand what positions we need to fill and do the research and prepare the right way.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough, and I think that growth and hiring and how those kind of go hand in hand is always a challenge at first, especially when dollars are tight. Like if you've got a lot of revenue and a lot of profit, you can make a few of those mistakes, or you can hire a little early sometimes and kind of get away with it. But when you're new, it's difficult to do that. That can be a real challenge, that's for sure.
Yeah, Trey, and when it's your own money too, it's a little bit more nerve wracking.
That's even worse, right? I mean, like, what am I going to get a paycheck this month? Nah, maybe not. Like that's a real question for an entrepreneur. That's for sure. But it seems like you thrive in this environment. You said you like the leadership side of things. Has it been better than you thought it'd be, about what you thought it'd be, or maybe a little bit more difficult than you thought it'd be?
It's been about what I thought it would be. I knew it was going to be some difficulties coming in, and I knew it was going to be a lot of stuff that I had to learn. Some stuff that I'll get blindsided by. I knew that coming in, but the thing that I leaned on is that passion that I told you about of wanting to see people see the greatness of themselves and that leadership side. I didn't know a whole lot about logistics, but I do know how to lead people. And that's what I really leaned on. And I tell my guys all the time, my job is to make sure that I put you in the best position to win. Because if you're consistently winning, then the company will consistently win. So that's how I look at it. If I got these guys and they're doing well, then we all will be doing well.
Did you have great coaches that really instilled that in you? Where did that understanding that leadership is really about serving others, where'd that come from?
Coaches early, throughout my life, man, I played for some great coaches throughout my days. When I'm on stage, I talk about my Coach J's when I do my public speaking. Coach Joe, Coach Joanna, Coach Jackson, Coach Jones, my middle school and high school football and basketball coaches. When I got to college, I had Coach Caldwell, who was also, he beat me in the Super Bowl when he was a quarterbacks coach with Indianapolis, and then he became head coach of Indianapolis and of the Detroit Lions. And then I had Levy Smith. I had Kyle Shanahan. I mean, not Kyle. I had Mike Shanahan. I mean, all of these coaches are freaking phenomenal that I played with. And I was just lucky to be able to be under their tutelage. And then when I got into the professional world out here in the real world, as I call it. Manny Amesqua, who is now the CEO of Mass Mutual Great Lakes, he runs the whole Michigan market. He chose me to be his partner for our practice that we started together. It started off as One Life Advisory, and then it changed once he became CEO in the Detroit market. And out of all of those guys, out of all of those coaches, I think my last person who I was under probably was the best of all of them. So I've just been blessed. And all of those guys they served. They wanted to make sure that you had what you need so you can be at your best. And then that's going to make the team be better. That's going to make the company be better. So I think that's where I learned it from.
Yeah, I love that. I had the privilege of playing for two basketball coaches, my high school, my college coach, both won over 900 games, which you don't do that by accident. They were phenomenal coaches and phenomenal people. And I know this, like you tend to just coach or lead the way that you were led. That's kind of a natural principle of human psychology. What you caught, what you understood is what you tend to do. And man, without great leadership around, like bad leadership begets bad leadership. Great leadership begets great leadership. And it sounds like you had some phenomenal leaders. What are some principles or some lessons that you were taught along the way that you're now trying to implement with your team at Bear Down Logistics?
So you say principles, just a shameless plug here. I wrote a book called Principles of Winning. So I got all kind of principles, Trey.
Where can people pick that up? Before we go any further, where can somebody get that?
They could go and pick it up off of Amazon. Principles of Winning: 5 Ways to Create a Standard of Excellence by Desmond Clark. So you just put that in and it'll pop right up. So I'm all about principles. I think if you live a principle life, that's the way to get the most out of life. And I have 5 really, really basic but fundamental principles that I think you can build off of. One is all you have is your name and your word. I got that from Coach Joe. And basically what that means is that's your brand. That is what, when people call your name, there's an emotional attachment to your name. What do you want that emotional attachment to mean? First of all, to yourself. And then what do you want it to mean to other people? And you have to define that, right? And if you never define that, so Trey Griggs, you are a brand. Your name is literally your brand. Your hairstyle is your brand. And I could tell you are a guy that you are very intentional about what your brand says about you. But I don't think just the everyday person looks at it like that. And it's not a thing where you have to have a business.
That's right.
Because you are a business. If you go to work and you get paid for a service that you perform at work, that's your business. Yep. And so when they say Joe Schmo, that's Joe Schmo's brand. What is it going to mean? So that's a principle that I live by, and that's a principle that I try to teach other people, because once you get known for things, and once you get known for your brand, that's how you start to build trust with people. And trust is the most critical thing that you can have to start with anything.
Man, that is music to my ears. I think you're right. The first business everybody owns is their family. I mean, a family really is a business. You got to run it like a business. It's important to do so. And, so I mean, it's like no matter what they do, people have a business. And I agree with you so much. Brand is just reputation. It's like when you think of like Chick-fil-A or when you think of Nike or whatever, pick any brand you want. When you think of the brand, it's just their reputation. It's what you think about when you think of them. Right. That's all it is. And so everybody's building a brand, whether they know it or not. And you need to be really careful about what it is that you put out there. I learned this from Gary Vee. You might follow Gary Vaynerchuk around social a little bit. He said, there's 4 or 5 things you need to be known for. You pick what those are, but there's 4 or 5, and you consistently put those out there and talk about them. And then before long, people feel like they know you. It's the celebrity effect. They feel like they know you, and because they feel like they know you, they trust you. I won't take any call. I mean, like I don't pick up every just random call that comes in. But if my phone rang and it said VaynerMedia, I would pick that call up because I feel like I know Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know him. I'm never going to meet him, but I feel like I do. And there's a level of trust there. That is so good, Desmond. So good. Okay. So speaking of brand and reputation, I have to ask you this. In the early days, and even now, as you think about sales and getting opportunities, did you ever play the Chicago Bears card? You ever throw that in there and find out if somebody's a fan and maybe work that angle?
Did I ever? I mean, that's half of the time that's what I lead with. Why not?
Why
Why
not?
not? Especially when I'm in Chicago, and especially if I'm talking to a company from Chicago or talking to somebody from
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
I will definitely lead with it. I'm not too proud to put on the NFC Championship ring. So when I reach this hand out, I got this big old nugget, and people look at it. They may not say nothing, but they see it. They see it.
It
And
shines, that's
then
right.
as we're talking,
Okay.
it's like you'll see that you'll see them say something like, or hear them say something like, "Man, that ring is just blinding me. You mind if I take a look?" So yeah, we definitely use the Chicago Bear angle.
So you and I have talked about this online. I hope that you do this if you haven't done it yet. But the next time you're in Chicago doing some visits, some prospect visits, I just want you to don the 83 jersey or the what was your number?
88.
88. Yeah, the 88 jersey with the ring, and just walk in and see what you can get.
So Trey, we talked about that, right? And I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. I did it twice and I felt too uncomfortable. I was like, this is so cheesy. Like, I was like, people looking at, I don't know if they were really thinking it, but I was thinking, all right, this is a little bit too much. I'm taking this jersey off. But I did do it a couple times.
I love it. You have to own it. I mean, it's going to be weird, right? You got to just be kind of like, yeah, I'm here. What's up? Let's play some catch or something. I don't know, but that's a funny story. All right, so I'm proud of you for doing it, but
yeah,
it was awkward.
It only lasted 2 visits.
Not again. All right. Well, let's keep it going with a little bit of fun. We like to pause every day and talk about a couple of things, have a little fun on the show. So every day we like to talk about the national day. So we just had a couple that we just passed. We had Good Friday, then we had Easter on Sunday. So those are pretty easy. But every day is a national day. Some of these are a little weird. Do you know what today's national day is?
I do not. And
I'm afraid today's national day is Only Child Day. Only child day. I'm not only child. You're not only child, right? You got
I'm not only child. I have 3 brothers.
Yeah. I kind of grew up like an only child. I had 3 older sisters that were way older. So I grew up by myself feeling like an only child. But yeah, it's National Only Child Day. There's never like National like Baby Day of the baby the family day. That's what they need. That's what I am. I'm the baby. Where do you fall in the birth order?
So I am 3 out of 4. Now, did you do the research? Because there may be a National Youngest Child Day.
Ooh, there might be one of those.
Day for everything.
Okay, I hope there is because I want to celebrate that one of these days. But only child, it's only child is tough and easy at the same time. Like you don't have to share anything. You always get new stuff, right? You don't get the past myth, but then you don't have someone to play with all the time at home. Like my kids love that, just having a best friend for a while, to play with. So there's some drawbacks and some benefits. Anyways, it's National Only Child Day.
Nice. My youngest is 9 years, 8.5 years younger than his next siblings, and he's always complaining about that same thing.
Yeah,
I need like a little brother or somebody to play with.
Somebody to throw around.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. Well, you missed that boat, buddy.
Nice. You're the third of 4. All boys, or did you have sisters?
All boys.
All boys. So your house was crazy.
Yeah, and we got a wide range. So my oldest brother is 6.5 years older than me, and my youngest brother is 12.5 years younger than me.
Oh wow! So that is a span. Yeah, that's quite the span. My oldest sister is 13 years older than me, and so it's not too much different than what you have. You're at 18 years, 13 years for our family, so not too different. But it's weird. It's like they were grown up before I even knew what was going on. So kind of how that worked. All right. Something else we like to do is we like to have a random question of the day. Now, Desmond, listen, we let our podcast director create this question every day. I haven't seen it yet. It could be serious. It could be funny. It could be a really great question. It could be dud. Who knows? Let's see. The random question of the day today is, what's your most favorite family tradition? Okay. Coming off of Easter. All right. What's your most favorite family tradition?
So man, we don't have too many family traditions, but I'm going to go back when I was young. I was like 12 or 13. Yeah, like 12. We used to go to the park and play basketball every Sunday. So it would be my stepfather, it would be my 2 brothers, and then it would be one of my brother's best friend. He would come over on Sunday. So it would be us 5. And every Sunday, it would be families of teams. at the park.
Yeah.
So we would play against each other as families. And I remember
cool.
it was this one Mexican family that it was either us or them that walked out as champion every
Stayed
Sunday.
on the court. Yeah.
Yeah, and we used to battle it out. But then the best part about that, we would walk back home and we'd be all sweaty, and then come back home and the house would be smelling so good because Sunday meal was either ready or being prepared.
Nice.
So those Sundays back then were special. I used to wake up every day ready to go play basketball, knowing that it was going to be a good meal once we got back.
Dude, that's a great tradition, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like a great way to spend a day.
Yeah, man. The memories, right? The memories.
How many years did you guys do that? Was that like all growing up, or was it just a couple of years? How long
we did it. We did it for 2 or 3 years before we actually moved away from that home. But yeah, it went on for a long, long time.
As a kid, that was my favorite tradition. Oh, here we go. All right, we're back. This is what happens when you go live, Desmond. You never know what's going to happen.
A little technical difficulties, right?
You just never know. It happens. But so for me, it was getting a Christmas tree as a kid. It was a Saturday after Thanksgiving every year. And we'd go get a tree. Then we go to Country Kitchen and get a breakfast. Love that. One of my favorite things. And then with my family, we just love to travel. So it's not really tradition. But like when we get in the car and start taking off somewhere, or we had an RV, we did that for a while. We felt like we were home. So for me, it's being with the family in the car and going exploring stuff. So a lot of good times with that. Good family traditions. I think I like yours way better than mine.
Because you're a basketball guy. That's why.
I know. I would have enjoyed it. All right, so we gotta round this thing out. We're gonna bring this in for a landing. Are you gonna watch the NFL draft coming up on Thursday?
I will. I'll be in and out.
2 Thursdays.
I'll be in and out, but I will be watching it.
Did you get drafted?
I did in the 6th round. No fanfare.
So you weren't in New York for that. But what was that like getting that call that you'd been drafted by a team in the NFL?
Well, it was nerve-wracking because it was the 6th round, first of all.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like somebody please call me. And here's the other thing. I had gotten like 2 phone calls of people saying, hey, if you don't get drafted, we'd like to bring you in as a free agent. So now they planted that seed in my head that I'm not getting drafted.
They're going to be an unsigned free agent. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But in the 6th round, the phone rung and it was Mike Shanahan. And Mike Shanahan said, how would you feel being a Denver Bronco? And that was when I knew I was going to get drafted. So, and then you seen the little ticker symbol go by. Denver Broncos draft Desmond Clark. That's all I got. I didn't get no camera action or nothing like that. But I did get the Denver Broncos draft Desmond Clark.
Were you with your family at that time? Were they all there?
Yeah, we had about 30 or so people.
That had to be a cool moment, though, just to share that with them, all the people that had supported you along the way, and like you made it. It was cool.
Absolutely, man. And I tell that story all the time. Just watching my mom have that sense of pride with her smile. Man. It was an unbelievable moment.
I became a big fan of Draft Day from the movie Draft Day. Kevin Costner was in it. I thought that was a pretty interesting movie. Did you see that movie?
I did.
Is it accurate?
I don't know because I've never been up in those rooms.
That's true.
So I can say that every movie has a little bit of extra in it, but I could see some of that stuff happening.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that became one of my favorite movies. And since the draft's in Kansas City, I got to go this year. I'm a Chiefs fan from Kansas City, so I got to go. I'm excited about that. But before that, we'll be in TIA next week. You're going to be there.
I will be there. I live right here in Orlando, man.
I know.
I'm sitting right here right now.
See, all the times that we spoke on the phone, I thought you were in Chicago. I didn't realize you were in Orlando till today. So we're going to have to get you out there playing golf and having a good time.
Absolutely. I got my golf clubs in the truck right now. So whenever you're ready,
that's where they belong.
Yeah.
See, this in the house stuff has got to go. I mean,
the
weather's getting nicer. I got to get these in the trunk of the car so we can play some golf. So It's going to be great. Well, listen, Desmond, thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate having you on the show. I look forward to seeing you. We'll get a picture next week. People will see how short I am and how tall you are next week. So that's going to be awesome. But thanks so much for being on the show today. Really
But you
appreciate
got better hair. You got better hair.
I have hair, period. I mean, it doesn't matter. It could be doing all kinds of stuff and it'd be better. You know what I'm saying? All right, Desmond, we'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. We'll see you. And everybody, thanks so much for being on the show today. Super excited to have you here. And we might be ending pretty soon, it looks like. So we will see you back here on Thursday and on Friday as well. Until that time, have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out.